Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run. Running on sand can be one of the best ways to build run-specific fitness. Trying to push off with a surface that seems to fade away underneath you can rapidly build strength. If you've ever tried it, you know that running on loose sand is a brutal workout. Well, many authors also seem to recommend sand for its capacity to diminish forces when you land, and in that respect, sand can reduce your risk of stress-related injuries such as a metatarsal stress fracture. If you decide to run on sand, you have to realize that all sand is not created equal. Even if you look at one specific beach, you'll notice that there are really several different types of surfaces on the beach. Closest to the water where the waves are, well, there of course the sand is actually wet. If you're running in the surf, you have to drag your feet through the water, and the sand is extremely soft because it's completely infiltrated with water as the waves come in, crash, and wash the sand away. As you move a little bit higher up along the beach, then you move onto the apron, which is the hard packed sand where the tide is going out. And it's extremely smooth, but it still has some water content in it that keeps it relatively soft. Now, depending upon your beach, the apron may be gently sloped or it could be pretty steep. But if it's a very gentle slope, this can make a great running surface. This part of the beach is usually slightly damp and relatively soft. If you walk in bare feet, it will usually leave a perfect imprint of your foot and your toes. Now, this tells you that the surface is relatively stable, but it's also cushioning. That is the ideal part of the beach for a run. But you have to keep in mind that you're running along a sloping surface. So if you run 10 miles in one direction, you're going to be pronating one foot and supinating the other foot for the entire distance. It's actually much better to run 1 mile out and 1 mile back, alternating each direction to alter the forces. If you alter the slope every mile or so, you're less likely to get a pronated related overuse injury like peroneal tendonitis or plantar fasciitis. When you get further away from the water, you have dry, loose sand. This is the stuff that you find in your kid's sandbox, and this kind of sand is very difficult to walk through. Every time you take a step, your foot slides one direction or another and caves away underneath you. If you look behind you at the footprints, you don't really see the perfect outline of your foot. You're more likely to see an irregular hole in the sand where your foot slid around as you pushed off. Now, although you can run in loose sand, you should expect to work out similar in effort to hill repeats. If you run for a long run in this type of sand, you're almost assured some sort of overtraining injury. It's just too loose, unstable, and irregular to sustain long efforts. Doc on the Run. We help injured runners run.